running about 30 minutes behind, but that's okay because we do what we do. So without any time wasted, I am going to bring my another brother from another mister and brother from another mother. You guys may remember him. Pim the Great, found him on Telegram, and I'm sure glad that I did because he gave us an epic download at Humanity Unplugged. I think you were on day 10, I think. Yeah, it was one of the late ones. But,
Yeah.
great upload, brother. And thank you for that. And thank you very much for accepting the invite to come here today and give us a message of love, inspiration, hope on this day of Earth. As you just heard, I know you're all about, the shadow work. And so that was, great what David was saying, because it's not all love and light. We can have love and light, but we need to have that balance as well, right? Because when you're an empath and you're, constantly helping people, and they're just taking and taking and taking, it really creates an energetic drain on a person. So it's good to have that balance. It's good to say, when to say no and when to say yes, and to do that internal work and then have that balance because you can get overpowered by one or the other, right? So thank you, homie. Thank you for being here, and I'll give you the stage,
Definitely.
and I'll give you a shout out with about 5-10 minutes left, and I'll jump on here and maybe we'll talk for a few minutes.
Cool. For sure. Yeah, so I don't really have any presentation right now. I just love to discuss with you because that's what we did with last times and that worked perfectly. I love your head, by the way.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
happy
brother.
Earth Day. And we're going to burst some bubbles because indeed, like what you said, balance is key. And that's most times very absent with a lot of people. Because actually, like, I'm still tripping balls on that whole presentation of David Starr. But to be honest, a lot of people really don't need any healing. That's one thing. Because actually, like we are all born like perfect. So it's most times actually in our own minds, right, that we think we need a lot more than just that. First of all, also what's very interesting when you have the word earth, if you take the H on the end, put it in the front, what do you have? Heart. Well, that's exactly what we need to connect with. More to the heart, follow the point in your heart. Exactly like why is Jesus often pointing to his heart? Because that's what you have to follow. You have to find the point in your heart. And personally, I really look often into like the Kabbalah, Christian Kabbalah. And if you read through all out of that, like the theories and concepts of that, that they believe that we all come from one man, Adam, right? And from there on, everything branches out. And there's a lot of races and everything, beliefs, whatnot. But also the belief within Kabbalah is that the less we as humanity, as a collective, evolve, the more people will be born. And I think that's also something that we really see right now. Like if you look around you, there's so many new souls, so many new people on this earth. Like there's some old souls. I'm sure there's a lot of old souls watching this one right now. But in general, there's a lot of new souls out there. And Earth, like what we have talked about, like I think the first session we had together,
Mm-hmm.
I see Earth as a learning experience environment. So we all come here to learn. And most people don't want to learn. They just want the love and light only. They're out of balance, right? And why do they want love and light? And why they want to be healed? Because actually, deep inside, most of them, they are absent of that. That's why they seek it, because they don't have it themselves. Like if you have love and light in yourself, like you are a light being, you don't need light because you are light. Why would you need light when you are that exactly what you seek?
Mm-hmm.
You see, that there's a lot of people don't seem to understand it or understand it better yet.
Yeah, they're in that mind state of I pinch, therefore I am, so I must be physical, and remain like that. But they don't see that when we're being observed from up above, that we actually appear as like little balls of light.
Yes. So we need to become shadow working light beings. do the shadow work here on Earth, evolve, soul, evolution. So not like the whole problem, like what we also the last presentation that I had, right, on Humanity Unplugged. That's about the physical execution of the Philosopher's Stone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is that they are trying to basically manipulate humanity to evolve physically. But the whole purpose of the great work and the Philosopher's Stone, where it really originates from, is of the soul, right? Of the esoteric, not the exoteric, not the outside. So the elite, the running physical elite, right? They took that and twisted it and made it a physical thing. And why they're always looking into artificial intelligence, trying to prolong life, right? But actually, like, good is fine. I mean, that is fine. That is fine. It always has to do with the balance of it. So you appreciate the life that you have here, but you also need to appreciate that. You need to appreciate the shadows, the evils in the world, because if there's no evil in the world, then the light, the happiness, and the love doesn't have any value. No pain, no gain. You need to have the balance in that, and that is lacking from a lot of people, and especially also. I think everybody can agree on all the speakers on here. Like, okay, Earth is like Gaia, right? So it's Earth Day, Gaia, Sophia, whatever you like to call it. That's feminine. Nature is feminine, right? So what does it need? It doesn't need that the whole world becomes feminine, because that's what they're pushing down our throat in the main media, right? Mainstream media and the education system and everything. What all comes down again from the elite. But actually, we need masculinity. We need to have real men, because what's divine masculinity? Divine masculinity is protection, protective, and that's what we're lacking of right now. So they're all pushing it towards like we have to become feminine and oneness. But let me tell you one thing, like about oneness. What happens if there's oneness in your body? If everything, all the cells in your body starts to reproduce and becomes the same thing, that's called cancer. So oneness is definitely not the solution. The solution is more wholeness. So we all need to be our own within our own tribe, find our own tribe, attract your own tribe, and connect with that. Like as above, so below, as within, so without. If the whole universe is a body, or better yet, this earth, right, and we are the blood cells within, we all have a different organ that we need to, you know, activate. So one tribe can be like, for example, the heart. You're not gonna hang out with the organ of the anus if that's not your tribe. You feel me? So therefore, we should not be trying to be on oneness. We need to be wholeness, because we do need the anus. you know, we do need to shit. That's just what it is, right? So every organ matters, right? Whether it's disgusting or clean or whatever, we all need to be all functional, right? But we don't have to hang out together. So that's, I think, very a lesson that we all need to have in mind. That we need to bond and connect with those that are alike of us, like-minded people.
Reminds me of something, Tim, that I heard years and years ago. A wise friend of mine told me this story, and he's transited now. But he told me a story about the body, and he said, the body was sitting there, and each piece was arguing with itself. The ears said, I'm the most important on the body, because if you don't hear somebody coming, or if you don't hear something, then you're finished. Then
Right.
the eyes popped up, and the eyes said, yeah, well, I'm the most important, because if you don't see, then you're not going to be able to do anything, right? Then the mouth steps up and says, oh yeah, well, if it wasn't for the mouth, you wouldn't be able to express yourself, and you wouldn't be able to get anything. And then the
Hmm.
asshole stepped up and says, oh yeah, and then he just quenched himself. Right,
But
so it
still Sweden.
turned out the asshole is the most important, right? Because you need to discharge. And that goes to show what I took away from the
Yep.
story was that each part is important regardless of the function which it
Mhm.
serves, because everything is important, right? We need to be
Exactly.
whole and we need to be one, right? Because the experience in within that is, um, fundamental. Because in order to be whole, we need to experience the individuality, and in order to experience the individuality, we need to have the information of the whole, right? So we need to have
Mhm.
that balance within ourselves, and not say that one thing is more important than this other thing, because really at the end of the day, it's more like a symbiotic relationship where it's codependent on one another.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. I mean, and what you said, the one, yeah, we are one, but holistically, right? So we all have our own divine right of existence, and we need to find a point in our heart, and which should be different for every person. That's why you really should not idolize anyone and try to mimic somebody's footsteps, because that's not your path. You need to find what's your path, because throughout what is your passion. And I think also, especially the word passion, that's really lacking nowadays for a lot of people, because people just follow trends, right? And not
Yeah.
only trends, they follow algorithms. And that the whole thing of algorithms, that's really a disease. Because right now, okay, we're also streaming on YouTube, right? What does actually YouTube mean? Your tunnel vision, YouTube, right?
Hmm.
And how does it work? Through the algorithm that tries to narrow your vision. Like, what if you watch like one video from WatchersTalk, right? Then you get recommendations of more videos suggested just like that, or
Hmm.
more from your same channel. So it narrows down your vision, because everything else outside of it becomes less and less and less. So that was like, I mean, it's so basic, right? This whole understanding of how these algorithms currently work, but it is so profound when you think about it. Because like right now, we can live in a household with a family, right? And we all live in our own reality in this metaverse, because we all have different sources of information. Because everything that we do, every device that we touch, is personalized through these algorithms,
Hmm.
right? So your brother or your sister that might be living just next room to you, right, might have a whole different view on reality as you. Especially, I know a lot of people that still live with their parents, because it's hard time now financially also, some people even move back to their parents, for example. And they have exactly, and they really have no matching reality at all, right? Which is very difficult for people that are in financial problems, because they have to deal with people that they have a whole different point of view, right? Well, when you look back, like before there was the media, right? The sorcery, we had just tribes and we had more word of mouth. And if you go even further back from that, like what is the really the main source where everybody, all the ancients, got their real knowledge and wisdom from? There was only one source. That source is Earth, nature. Like now, everything is artificial. Everything is, you know, um, technology is making your reality, and people even forget to look outside. There's so many people that the whole day are on the phone. They don't even know if it's, if there's chemtrails in the sky, or if it's gray from clouds, or if it's sunny, just pure blue, because they don't
or,
look up.
or even if it's
It's
day outside.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like I was saying earlier, Pam. In regards to the app that we're promoting today, it depends on the person that's involved with that technology. Right now, you
Hmm.
can choose to abuse that technology. Like for instance, a gun. Right, you can use a gun to go and hurt someone, or you can use the gun to do target practicing. Right, you can use it for a recreational purpose, or you can use it for a destructive purpose. And with all technology, I think it's really comes down to that. Even the mainstream television, for instance, there's people who wake up and they're stuck on TV program after program, all day long until they go to sleep. And then there's other people
Right.
that just watch TV for a couple hours a night and they go to sleep, and it doesn't have that effect on them as it would on someone that's constantly on it, right? So, it really it depends on the state of the person's mind too, at what level of awareness they're at, right? For them to, experience the type of human experience that they came here to experience. Now, if a person's going to allow technology to hijack their human experience, then obviously they need an upgrade in thinking, in perception, in values, and what life is really all about. You mentioned
Hmm.
something about money. People having a hard time with money nowadays, and inflation and what have you. It costs almost $1 million to buy a two-bedroom house here in BC in Canada. And then we
Right.
have this app up here. I don't know. I just keep going back to that, but we have this app here
Well, I
where,
love the concept of the app, so please
yeah,
continue.
where we can get rid of like this monetary type of system that we value, that we think has value to it, but it really doesn't. Because if everybody
Hmm.
picks up on it and begins to live in the mind state of, the Ubuntu mind state that Michael Tallinger has, one small town where people begin to do favors for one another, like you live in a village where there's no money and everybody bands together and just takes care of one another. We can
Right.
get beyond that, and we can get into this new timeline. But I really love the name of your channel of like unmatrix yourself, because in order for us
Hmm.
to get into this new earth, we really need to unmatrix ourselves. We need to stop being naive and stop giving ourselves delusional perceptions of everything's going to be all right. If I just sit here and think about it, everything's just going to work out. But in reality, it doesn't work like that. You can sit here and create an intention, right? But from that intention, you need to put work into that intention for it to manifest and for it to fruit to do what you want it to do.
Yeah, correct. And yeah, let me also explain like what a matrix means, because a lot of people kind of misunderstand it. Because the majority of the people that for especially like on Instagram, because that's where we have the most following, and also YouTube quite a lot. It's all about like conspiracy theories, and trying to and I we say a matrix, because we actually mean that you go outside of the matrix, like astral traveling, or your abilities are in a sense, and you
Mm-hmm.
get those direct downloads like from the universe outside of the matrix, and bring that knowledge back in the matrix. So we are not escape artists, right? So we're not trying to escape the matrix, because I love the matrix personally, because also if you look at that set, if you look at the tree of life, for example, right, then Earth is good, right? So that is the kingdom, which it is, the kingdom, of course. Did you lose me or did I lose you? There
Oh,
was
yeah,
1 second of
yeah,
a break in
you're
there.
breaking up.
But
Yeah,
do
you
you
were
hear me
breaking up
again?
a little bit. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. You were breaking up a little bit there.
Omar?
I think it might be your connection. Can you hear me? Can
Ah,
you see me?
yeah. I was wondering if I'm. Anyway, so the kingdom is the animal kingdom. I can hear you. I can. And and
Let me see if this will help.
that's beautiful. It's now one enough. Me, then you. Audience can see us. But anyways, think you can receive me good now.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. It seems we got a bit of a
All right.
delay, but carry on, brother, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah. No, what I'm just trying to say, animals, right? The animal kingdom, because this is the kingdom, and that is really beautiful. For me, like nature is beautiful. Like most times, the only problem that I have on Earth is humanity. What humanity does to each other, and especially how humanity, or I mean, some people, right? elite, whatever you want to call them, are trying to shape the cause of humanity. That is my problem, right? Like I like to go more back to the old ways, the tribe life situation, where indeed money doesn't exist. Everything goes about favors, right? Everybody has a specialty. Okay, I do this for you. You didn't do this for me. Why you need money? There's no need for money, right? So this whole app that you have up here, I love that concept. Do favors for each other. You can come to barter deals kind of way, and I think we need to go back to that. And especially we need to find the right people to do that with, because of course, yeah, there's a lot of people who are trying to abuse it as well. So we have to be
Mhm.
careful for that. But it's a very interesting, concept, and I think over time it can really develop to something, very profound. So
Mhm.
I love that idea. I'll certainly download it. I don't think many people in my neighborhood will be on it, but let's see. You never know, right? And also back to the whole love and light thing, right? And like so many people keep pushing this whole concept of love everybody, love this, love that. But that means like your love is fake, like you cannot love everything and everybody. It has to be selective. If you say to everybody, "I love you," then I don't care that you love me because your love has no value because you love everything, right? So it needs to be selective. And I think also what a lot of people are missing, and also what I said before, that what is Earth missing is the whole masculinity, right? Is also the aggression that comes with that. I don't know if you have seen. Do you know what is his name? What is his name? Is this Gnostic writer? I think it's John Lamb Nash, I believe. He had this book, Not in His Image, and he was also a few months back, I believe, on the Age of Truth video channel, which I really love as well. Sorry if I'm interrupting you. I know you're okay. But right, he also said in that interview there, like, we need aggression, but we need right aggression. And that really triggered something to me, like, yeah, because aggression also really shows that you have passion, right? You're not getting aggressive about something if you don't have passion for something. And that is also really lacking for a lot of people. People just follow the same slogans and again that everybody says, love and light to you, love and light to you, blah blah blah, namaste, and but they don't mean it, or maybe they mean it, or they try, most actually try to mean it, but they don't really mean it inside. They don't really feel it. They just keep on repeating it because they think they're gonna manifest something, right? But actually, it if somebody shows aggression for something, that is way more profound because that means that there's really something they're trying to be protecting, right? And that whole protective thing, that is what a lot of people need. And I'm not against, femininity at all or the gender, especially. I love women, but Earth really needs masculinity, divine masculinity, more protection. We need real men that are really protecting our children, and are protecting our women from what's all happening right now in the world. Because it's crazy.
So that was the key word there is the divine masculinity because up until now, the
Hmm.
masculinity that we've been involved with has not been divine. It's just been
True.
masculinity and aggression. I see aggression from a couple different layers, right? One, I see aggression as what you're mentioning, that it's a good thing when you become passive and aggressive in what you want to accomplish and do things. And the other layer of aggression I see it would be a sign of weakness,
Right.
lack of self-confidence and things like that. Because when you become physically aggressive, then you're responding to something that you intellectually can't cope with or deal with nor understand. So, and
Hmm.
hence, you just want to lash out and punch and hit and kick everything that just doesn't really make any sense. And that's the type of
This is not good
masculinity.
also.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
type of masculinity that we've been dealing with for the past several thousand years. And I
Hmm.
really feel that it's time that we bring in the divine feminine energy, because we've let men rule this world for thousands of years. And look what has gotten us. Right? It's cost billions of lives, like literally billions of lives has costed since the beginning of this cycle that we've been in. It's been
Hmm.
constant war. It's been constant profit, slavery. All of that is done by these masculine people. And in this age that we're going into, and this consciousness that people are waking up to, and the self awareness of themselves, I think is what we need at this particular moment with the divine mass or feminine, right? Because I think it's time to kick the guys out, because the guys have just caused too much
Well,
trouble for the last so long, and maybe it's time to give women a chance and see what they can do. Because I would see women would,
mhm.
rule the country more like they would their own household, right? Even the women that we have in power right now, there's nothing divine about them either. Like we can look at New Zealand, for instance. There's nothing divine going on
Yeah,
there.
good example.
Right? Yeah, that is just feminine energy that's been hijacked, and that is it, right? We need something that's totally different. And I feel that the selective love, right? That's kind of
Mhm.
where we've been at this entire cycle that we've been at, where we're picking and choosing on who we're going to love and who we're not going to love. I do agree with you that at certain times, the saying I love you, I love you, I love you can become meaningless, because you're saying that to everything, to everyone. But after a while, when you begin to reprogram yourself with that love energy and with that thought that, hey, I'm willing to give that unconditional love regardless of what it is, because that's what I am as a source, right? As a source
Mhm.
being, you're created out of love. Right. So I think we, should continue to say I love you, because that's more of a self-programming, right? Because the more we self-program
Well,
ourselves
I understand what
to
you're
love,
saying.
yeah.
And may I also correct you, at least from my point of view, because like what you were saying about the aggression, for me, that's not masculine at all. Because actually, even also if you look back, for example, where does it actually all come from? The majority came from the church of that aggression. That's where it started. All these wars,
Yeah.
all these power force struggles came from the clergy. And how do they dress up? Do they dress up like men? No, they look like women. They dress up with dresses, because that's the actually the mind fuck they are doing,
Mm-hmm.
because these men in control are very feminine. They just are in a meat suit, that is
Mm-hmm.
manly, but that's
Yeah.
not masculine energy at all. Because actually, like, if you like, once again, I love women, right? But the feminine, divine femininity, that's chaos, and nature is chaotic, and
Mm-hmm.
I love chaotic. I love chaos, actually, But also, if you, I've been in companies that were run by women. Let me tell you one thing: they're very chaotic. And it can be a good thing, but not for everything. Like most times for in the company, to be honest, I don't find it a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind having all these managers that are, women, for example, but to really have a director, no, I don't believe in that, because I've seen what happens with that. But there's also a lot of women, that are really masculine. They have a female body, especially, for example, all these, these politicians. They are women, right? Physically, but mentally they're masculine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really like, inside and out. That's also the Luciferian thing.
Yeah.
Everything is distorted,
Yeah. I see
distorted,
what you're saying. It's
inverted.
inverted.
Right. So that's how I look at it, and I really understand the whole thing what you were saying.
Mhm.
About us saying "I love you" as a kind of a spell, right? To get
Yeah.
in the right frequency, and that's good, on one hand, but on the other hand, I think it's also like how I see it myself. Like, I have this understanding and unconditional love for everyone, really everyone. But
Mm-hmm.
here on Earth, in my meat suit, you mess with me,
I'm gonna kick your ass.
it's not all love. Including
I
for my
tell you, man.
family, I'm very protective of my family, right?
Oh, I'm the same way.
So
Don't
that's
mess
like
don't mess with my family. Right, I'm the same way. Don't mess with my family
right.
because if you do, love and light goes out the
Hmm.
door, and the brass knuckles come out with,
Yes.
crystals. I'm a align your chakras kind of deal, right? But what we,
Hmm.
again, that's to me. I look at that as, I guess, it's reality here on this earth, right? In this density that we're in, but that's the reality that it's been in this cycle, right? So now, because we're going into a different cycle, I feel that maybe we need to break everything, all of what we've been practicing. And, like you said, it's a spell, and try to create that spell within ourselves, because if we all make ourselves under that spell as we are right now, right, we're under this spell to create division and be divided and to fight and to kill and to do all of this stuff. But on the other polarity of that is that if we put ourselves under that spell of love and acceptance and unity, then
Hmm.
everybody will be like that, and then we wouldn't have the need to grab somebody by the neck and take them outside and teach them a lesson and do things like that, because that
Right.
mentality wouldn't be there, because everybody will be vibrating on that same level, right? So I think it's more, for 4D, right? What of what you're saying, it's I roll with it. But I think when we're getting into
Hmm.
this fifth dimensional world, then we're going to need to have a different, it's not that we're going to need to, I think we're just going to naturally have a different perception and a different thinking to that. Now, what I mean by, 5D is that, we live in a third dimensional world. We add time to that, which becomes a fourth dimensional world. And then if we look at consciousness as a dimension, as
Hmm.
the zero dimension, and we insert that into this meat suit, and then the person that's inside that meat suit, if they can become aware of that consciousness, that they have this access to consciousness, then they go into 5D, right? But if you're not aware of that consciousness that's within you, right, you're stuck in that program, in that matrix, and you have that rat race from morning till night, then you're not aware of this consciousness, this awareness that person should have. They remain in the 4D, and they're going to continue on this cycle that we've been in for the past, however long. But the ones that are like evolving and are becoming aware of their awareness, then as that time
Hmm.
transist for them, then everybody's thinking in that same manner and that same perception, then there will be a totally different world. And, I don't think
Right.
there'll be a need for violence and, this invertedness that we're seeing, if a male is a female and a yes is a no, and, down is up and blue is black, and, that invertedness these Luciferians use. And,
Mhm.
when just to go back when you were saying, that masculine energy, you're right. You're absolutely correct on that, because when I view these people, like, the demon in New Zealand and in Australia and here in Canada and the USA and France and Britain and Ukraine, all of these places, for me, I am really not seeing any energy in them, because they seem to me to be more, unconscious, and they just seem to be operating on this software of this archontic type of software, and that is it. And there's no masculinity nor there's any feminism to these people. They're just simply moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Can I break that a bit down also for the audience? So what you mentioned, you always have to be one dimension higher, the dimension that you are present in. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we always talk about the 3D dimension. To be in the 3D dimension, you actually have to be in the 4D dimension. So 3D, you know what it is? That's depth, basically, right? Then what is 4D? 4D is actually beyond time. 5D is beyond space. And that what I mean with that is location. And indeed, what you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, like if we would all be tapped in on that 5D consciousness or 6D, 7D, 8D, because it goes higher than that, then of course everything will be love only, and everybody will be happy and good together. But the reality is that the most people here on Earth are somewhat like NPCs, non-playable characters, in the sense that actually their body, their soul, left the body. The body got so brainwashed, primed by the society and media and everything, that the soul thinks like, yeah, f this, like why am I even bothering to be in this body? They're gone. So you have NPCs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're dealing with a lot of new souls here on Earth and a lot of NPCs. So even
Yeah.
though like those that are a little bit more old souls and more advanced spiritually, we can tap into that 5D, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can understand how this world somewhat operates and what we're supposed to be being and doing, right? But we have no control over NPCs. And that is the whole problem, because these elitists, they have this 5D consciousness, but they abuse it, right? They are abusive. So they know how the matrix operates, and they
Mm-hmm.
abuse that now. And who are the ones that fall victim for it? It's the new souls and the NPC. And actually, to be frank with you, that's okay, because they need hard lessons. People need hard lessons to climb up on the ladder of soul evolution, to become more knowledgeable in the next life.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people that are looped, they reincarnate, and again the same thing happens. They fall for the same traps, and nothing is changing, and that remains like, unless their life become very or ends traumatic or traumatic throughout, because
Mm-hmm.
then reincarnate. Okay, I don't want this ever again. Then they actually will learn. And I find this very interesting because me personally, I do sometimes tarot card reading, but I sometimes for fun for some people, right? Entertain girls. But I only do it for the collective.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't do it for myself. I don't like, for me, I just live in the moment. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really care, right? I don't have to know the future, even though I have often a lot of visions, but I don't care. I
Yeah.
care for the collective, right? So when I do card reading, I do it for the collective. So actually, I did one today for a day. So I don't know if you are, do you know the cards?
Yeah, I know the tarot cards. Yeah, I got lots of
Okay.
friends who read cards.
Yeah. So I will show you three cards that I pulled today. Then I wanted to see what is your explanation of these cards. Is that
Okay,
okay?
we got a few minutes. Okay, let's do it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. That's a nice ending, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it, brother.
So I have this one.
Put you on full screen so I can see.
You got it.
It's upside down. What is that?
Yes, upside down.
Yeah,
Like today, everything went upside down.
rider.
Yes, with the cup.
Mm-hmm.
Knight with the cup. And this is eight swords upside down. And then the last one, the hangman, also upside down.
Oh, nice. I can already see it.
Yeah. So what does these cards mean to you?
So the very first one that you showed me, my automatic, energetic reaction to that was the Joan of Arc. And Joan of Arc is an angel,
Hmm.
and I know an incarnation of Joan of Arc. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh wow, look, it's Joan of Arc, and it's angelic energy that's coming through." And then when you showed the other one with the woman with masked, covered eyes, yeah, that one tied up, that showed me that the angelic energy that's here on this planet is well engaged into fighting the darkness that has enveloped this world, more like shadow working the earth of all of the archontic type of parasitical beings that are stuck in this world. And then that last one that you showed me that the angels
Right.
have ascended and they've helped humanity ascend into the 5D and creating a new timeline that the Aboriginals and the Aborigines spoke of back in the day when they said that there's going to be a time when there's going to be a cosmic level event that's going to take place, and people will have a choice. They'll choose one road and the other, and I see that people have
Mm-hmm.
chosen the road of acceptance and unity and love and getting along with one another. And yeah, that's what I saw, brother. You still with me?
Yeah. No, no. Actually, that is quite correct in all of that. Yeah, I'm here. But the thing is, they're all upside down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how I translated this is that the collective needs betrayal. The collective needs this actually for the collective. Instead, like if it's like this, right? This is spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually so now with the whole the gaps and everything, right?
You're breaking up
I
pretty
think a lot
bad,
of
brother.
people need to suffer, and that sounds very harsh. Did you hear what was the last thing? A lot of people that needs to suffer, and
Yeah, I
they
heard
like
that.
people took these things by free will consent, right? They don't know what it is. It's all experimental,
Mm,
and I think that like in the for future development, people need to learn, and in this way,
mm-hmm.
I think it will be the art. And I
Yeah,
mean, this is what I pulled in for the collective. It's not what I want, but I think it is what it is. It is what it
yeah,
is.
it is, man. Then that's all we can do. Because if we resist it, then we fight it, and then when we fight it, we give it energy. But if we just follow the process and not worry about the outcome, then the outcome will be what the outcome will be, and it's what we put into it that makes it what it is. All right, my
Right.
brother. Thank you very much. I'm running super late here,
Yeah.
and
Sorry
I need
also for
to.
that.
All good, my man. I'm gonna bring my next speaker on, and thank you very much
Cool.
for being here. And guys, head on over to Unmatrix yourself and subscribe to Pim's YouTube channel. Wonderful channel. I'm sub to it, and I watch a lot of videos from there. So again, thank you, my brother. I really appreciate it,
You're welcome,
and
brother.
I will
And I
talk
can
to you
say
soon.
that I do love you.
Yeah, I do love you too, brother.
So,
Thank you, my man. We'll see you
all right.
soon.
Cool. Have a good
Bye.
show, man. Thank you for
Thank
having me
you.
on. Yes, for sure.
Bye.
Bye bye.